When Americans are angry, they turn to guns. Every single time. We've been trying to tell you that for years, for over 20 years, because children have been unalived in their places of learning over and over and over again by hurt individuals. So it has happened to CEOs of the worst corporations in this country. It has happened to our president. Now it's happened to Charlie Kirk. Now it's happened to a political figure, which tells us something important about our culture. The internet and media have made it so the political space has expanded drastically. And in light of this, so have feelings about and surrounding politics. They've expanded, they've grown, and they've gotten serious to the point where people are so distraught and angered by their political emotions that they have resorted to pew-pewing people. And I can't act like I don't understand that. I can't act as though that feeling and that result is not expected when the talking points of these social media figures have led to a culture based around hating individuals who look like me. We are seeing a drastic resurgence of marginalization and dehumanization taking commonplace in America. In our social institutions, places that were supposed to feel safe are now politicized in a way that hurts brown, black, and LGBTQ communities. What do you expect to happen? Charlie Kirk has been one of the biggest vessels in communicating this hatred. And now we're seeing a symptom of a deeper problem manifesting in the violence that was perpetuated against him. People are angry and afraid, and they don't like the direction that this country is going. And they don't know what to do about it. Blame the root problem. Blame the fascist culture that is taking over this country, that is making every other country look at us like we are crazy. Are you seeing it now? Are you understanding that something is wrong?
I can't stand the word empathy, actually. I think empathy is a made-up new age term that it does a lot of damage.
There's a lot of people being policed based off of how they show empathy or the lack thereof when it comes to Charlie Kirk. And I believe there's a lot of videos and things this man has said that's echoing in folks' heads. Probably debating with the devil right now. Him, Ronald Reagan, George Bush. Yeah, they having a debate of hell. Oh, shit. Now they saying they don't know who shot Charlie Kirk. And the person they had allegedly, he didn't do it. So now we're waiting on the details to see who did this to Charlie Kirk and why did they do it. But it's going to be interesting to see how the Trump administration spins this, as well as how it becomes deracialized if it's you know who. And if it ain't, it's going to be really interesting to see all of the racial pathology and politics at play. We all watching now and seeing what's happening. Still crazy political violence going on in this country, and I blame Trump. I blame them for all the climate they didn't cause to make it where individuals want to pull out their little things and shoot them. Especially when we start talking about, hey, man, preventative gun laws could have prevented this man's life. But y'all say we don't need that because criminals don't break the law. Criminals don't care about the law. But y'all don't feel away with anything else. Man, we waiting on these updates for Trump. I'm waiting on these updates with Charlie Kirk. Shit, crazy.
Have a lot of empathy for the man who said, and I quote, "I think it's worth it. I think it's worth the cost of, unfortunately, some gun deaths every single year so that we can have the Second Amendment to protect our other God-given rights." I don't have a lot of empathy for that man. Clearly, he was okay with this. And even still, I'm not going to have a ton of empathy for the man who spent his entire life, including his last moments on earth, being openly misogynistic, transphobic, racist, anti-immigrant, xenophobic. The list goes on and on and on. No, he doesn't have my sympathies or empathies. Now, of course, I don't wish this on anybody, not even him. Of course, I feel horrific for his family who is likely devastated by this loss, obviously, because I'm a human being who has some care and empathy in me. I don't want this to happen to anybody, especially the victims of the over 300 mass shootings we've had in the United States this year, not including the school shooting that happened today, not this event, a different one that wounded 3 people. This is going to stay in the news cycle way longer than any of those other acts of violence out there. We're going to talk about him and the grief and how this is enough and how bad we feel for him and his family way longer than we've ever talked about any of the other victims. We're going to spend our time and energy focusing on somebody who would not shed a tear for anybody else. Not only would he not shed a tear, he says, well, that's the price to pay. If that's the price to pay, I hate to say it, he paid it. You want me to cry? He was okay with this. This is a very sad day for his family. I hope they find healing like everybody else who has ever been impacted by gun violence. But we're not going to forget the kind of man that this man was just because he's another victim in a long line of victims. Clearly, by his own admission, he's okay with victims being victims if it means we get to have a Second Amendment. And that's that.
Hey, y'all. So they killed Charlie Kirk. Okay? So, I usually talk about things from a spiritual point of view. And so there's two types of exposure. There's the true exposure coming from the spirit, and then there's fake exposure. Now, the true exposure is all these things that are going to be coming out over time and being released, and people finding out the truth, who really did what, and all the little, people are going to all fall in place of what's happening. That's happening little by little with spirit. Fake exposure is what these people have been doing and deceiving their people. Now, let's talk about who had motive to do this to him. Okay? For one thing, Charlie Kirk was at least 6-7 years promising, along with a lot of other people, that they wanted to expose those people that were on that Epstein file. And then all of a sudden, he turned cold on them. And he decided that he don't want to talk about it anymore. I'm not going to talk about it. This is the last day. After just saying, I want to see the files. Well, it doesn't work like that when you've been one of the big mouths in a gang, because that's what you're heading. You're one of the leaders of a gang, okay? And you cannot, ask any gang leader, you cannot, be in the gang and then just decide, oh, I don't want to have anything to do with it anymore. Well, I'm not going to talk about it. It don't fucking go like that, baby. It don't go like that. That's not working. And as you can see, it hasn't worked. But he's not going to be the last one. I told you last week, they are going to off each other. They are going to off each other. They only like Donald Trump. Okay? They only like him. And it's going to get worse. They only like Donald Trump. Everybody else that has turned coat is going to see their day when it comes to those people that they've been dealing with. Because they don't know who they've been dealing with. They have released the Krakens. Okay? So now you deal with the people that you've hyped up all these years. You deal with them because they're out there. I'm telling my people, stay in the house, stay safe, and stay out of this mess that they have going on. It doesn't have anything to do with us. Eat your popcorn, drink your water, and watch this shit show, honey, because it's going down. And I'm reminding you that Spirit told me at the beginning of the month that he don't need no bombs to end this shit show. Okay? One by one, they're going down. Stay in the house.
Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? I'm hoping that you're doing great from wherever you're watching me from. I'm your host and presenter, Chintok Stories. What's up, everybody? Let's talk about this, right? All I'll say is that it has happened and everyone is seeing it out there. The only problem that I have is this group of people that are coming out and saying that this was something that was induced by the leftists because they didn't subscribe to what Charlie Kirk really subscribed to. And I would like to say is that I know very well this is where the great division starts, because it's going to be like people from the left side are trying to divide, are trying to bring all this chaos, because I understand that this has been happening for a long time. What's happening in the United States is it's something which has been happening. People are being raised in a society of a gun violence where people just shoot each other. And when you're upset, somebody who is bored just go in class and just shoots people. And to them, this is something which is normal. And so, brothers and sisters, I'm inviting you. I had a couple of clips and my brothers and sisters were just sharing their thoughts in regards to this. And honestly, something that I'll say up front is that you definitely see no one is celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk. But this is what we have to say honestly. Majority of the things that he subscribed to were things that affected people. Because when people endorsed Mr. Donald Trump, people are not gonna, okay, he was a right-wing conservatism member and he supported Mr. Donald Trump. Of course, we don't have a problem with that. But the problem is we have people that are dealing with different problems in the United States, and how they perceive information is different, right? And so some people see to it that they are going to be taking matters into their hands. I've seen corporate CEOs being shot dead. Like last year, you saw what happened. I've forgotten the name of that company, of this CEO who was shot dead because of the insurance company. It didn't compensate it for the people. And so when you live in a society where everybody has the power of pew pew, you know what happens. Somebody goes out there, and when you say something that upsets them, that's what happens. But honestly, I'll say that may his soul rest in peace, and nobody is celebrating, because he was a person who had a family, had wife, he had kids. He was a daddy. I mean, he was an husband to a person. He was a son to some people. And so, do we really think, and this is a critical question that I'm going to be asking up front, do you really think that this was what is life? Brothers and sisters, before watching the video, letting you by asking you that question. For those who are watching me for the first time, you know, I'm asking you to please subscribe to the channel, join the membership, and really get to what I can offer you. But until then, let's watch the video. I'll be back with my thoughts in regards to this. So let's watch the video. I'll be back.
Ironically, the last thing that Charlie Kirk said before somebody had made an attempt on his life was talking about gang violence. I don't even know why he's talking about gang violence in Utah. Okay, he was at Utah. He was in Utah. And you have to really watch the things that you say. Because the thing is that the person who pew-pewed him wasn't a gang member. It wasn't an ethnic Black American. It was somebody who was in his same racial group. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. You know what you did to our community. You know what you continue to do to our community. But if you want to sit up here like Charlie Kirk and say all types of things that are not true, or twisting narratives and statistics to make yourselves feel better about you as a community, you're going to get shown certain things. And unfortunately, this was shown in such a violent way. This didn't happen. No, this wasn't a person of color. This wasn't a Black American who's different from a person of color. This was somebody like him. That's who did the violence. Look in the mirror and work on your own violence and leave us alone.
I can't stand the word empathy. Actually, I think empathy is a made-up New Age term that does a lot of damage, but
I'm supposed to have empathy for a motherfucker that doesn't believe in it. I'm supposed to have empathy for a person that demonized my people, a person who watched a Black man get his neck kneeled down for 9 minutes. He had a daughter. But do you know what that man said about that man after he was deceased? And I'm supposed to have some empathy? You're telling me that my morals are compromised because I don't have empathy for a man who doesn't view me as an equal human being to him? A man that does not have sympathy for children being mowed down in schools, a man that does not have any sympathy for the women that are losing their reproductive health care and are set to lose more of their reproductive health care. This man literally said that he would force his daughter to have her rapist child, and I'm supposed to have some empathy that this man got taken out while spewing some more hateful rhetoric. Seriously? You can be against gun violence, right? You can acknowledge that no human being deserves to have their life taken away. Nobody does. But at the same time, stop telling people who are affected by the rhetoric that these people spew and individuals, because now that a lot of people who are saying that you should have some empathy, now there's finally somebody that looks like them that has been a victim of this. I've been having to watch my people get killed on camera as long as I can remember. Stop telling us to have empathy for a person that does not have empathy for us. That's not how that works. That's not how that works.
Well, there you have it. Charlie Kirk has passed away at the age of 32. I thought he was going to make it. I really did. But now that he is gone, the only people I feel bad about is his 2 little girls. Everybody else I really don't have any empathy for, but his 2 baby girls are going to grow up without a father. And that is the only thing I care about. Now, Charlie Kirk is about to be a martyr. And if the person that did take his life is on the left side, all hell is about to break loose. So what I'm going to say, anybody that is an influencer on the left, if you got something, hold that bitch tight, okay? Watch your surroundings and keep your head on a swivel, because if you don't, we already know. That side is cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, and they will not They will not think twice. And Charlie Kirk was an influencer. He was a major influencer for the right. So, that's all I got.
America, you have a serious apathy issue. Aside from the obvious gun control issue, which is apparent to anybody with a set of eyes, the selective apathy is actually what makes my stomach churn. Because what the fuck do you mean there will be people today mourning the death of Charlie Kirk, who was a man who did not believe in gun control, died at the hands of a gun whilst ironically talking about how he didn't believe in gun control. But that same level of mourning, outrage, empathy will not be applied to kids within your own country or to people that your government has indirectly and directly killed at the hands of guns. At the same time as Charlie Kirk getting shot today, kids in a school in your own country were shot. At the same time as Charlie Kirk getting shot today, Palestinian people, including children, were shot using funds and arms that your government gave to a dictatorial, genocidal government. But Charlie Kirk will be the focus today. Charlie Kirk will be the martyr. If you can hold space in your soul to identify that Charlie Kirk should not have died at the hands of a gun, but that same emotion cannot be given to children in your own schooling systems and people in Palestine who directly die at the hands of Israel using your guns, I don't know what the fuck to say to you anymore. You don't get to choose the victim. You don't get to choose the innocent life that is lost. Either innocent people should not die at the hands of guns, or they should. It's not an either or.
I'm sorry to say, but we just received word that Charlie Kirk has died. I think I'm still coming to grips.
Lock in, fuck niggas. We need to talk about this. The first thing I want to say is that I do condemn the events that happened to Charlie Kirk, and I feel terrible for his family. He just recently had a baby. Now, before people say some things that are crazy and doesn't make any sense, I do want to say that I blame Utah for this. If we actually look at Utah's gun laws, it is terrible. In Utah, you don't need permits to carry a weapon. They have loose background checks. There is no mandate to ban weapons on college campus. Not to mention the thousands of signatures that was signed to not allow Charlie Kirk to have his event in Utah. And despite not listening to that, despite not having strict gun laws, y'all allow him to have an event outside a public event where he was open for this to happen. You mean to tell me there was no safety precautions for this event? This is a state that gets an 11 out of 100 for gun law strength. They are also above average when it comes to gun violence. And despite knowing all of this, we're still gonna sit here and say that we don't have a gun issue?
Now, I want to make this abundantly clear so that there's no room for confusion. It is perfectly fine not to feel sad for or empathize with somebody who would even spit on you if you were on fire. Now, choosing not to mourn, cry, or feel bad for somebody does not automatically mean that you're celebrating their death. Like, there is a huge difference between celebrating and indifference. Now, I'm not about to have a party, buy balloons, and set off fireworks because Charlie Kirk got shot, because that's just not who I am. But at the same time, I'm not going to feel bad about it, and that's valid. And refusing to extend sympathy to somebody who spends his entire life tearing on the dignity of others is not cruelty, it's honesty. And I don't feel like anybody who has that opinion should feel attacked or shamed. Now, it is possible to acknowledge a death without pretending that that person suddenly becomes worthy of the compassion they refuse to give others. And you know, with me being a black woman in America, he said that the Civil Rights Act was a mistake. And he was also one of the loudest voices that spoke out against reproductive rights. So why would I pretend to mourn somebody who actively sought out to take away my dignity, my humanity, and my rights? So no, I'm not celebrating his death, and I don't think anybody else should, but at the same time, I don't think anybody else should feel forced to feel sad about it either.
Charlie Kirk was just shot in the neck, and a lot of y'all are saying you don't condone violence. This is the same person that is spewing and upholding violent rhetoric against us. Maybe you're not seeing what's going on in Nepal right now, or what just happened to Jakarta, because no one has ever gotten their liberation through peaceful means. Violence has always been the way to liberation, and you don't condone violence against a racist white supremacist that's condoning violence against us? So it's okay for him to do it, but not us. We really feeling mercy for Charlie Kirk, the same person that cheered on this type of violence against Palestinians and also said a couple deaths here and there as long as we can have the Second Amendment are okay? Additionally, for anyone being mad about political violence against one person, while there's millions of indigenous people being unalived under the guise of democracy, this type of pacifism is what allows for it to continue. Given we've been so far removed and oppressed that we don't know what real revolution and liberation looks like, so when we see it, we actually stand up for the colonizer. Oh, and by the way, Netanyahu just came out and said that he's praying for Charlie Kirk. So pick a side. You either stand with the oppressors or you stand with the oppressed. You don't get to do both.
Boy, y'all got the nerve to really be sitting here wanting somebody to feel bad for Charlie Kirk. I say free Palestine. Y'all want to tell me to save that for tomorrow? Like it ain't hundreds of people dying last week, yesterday, today, and going to die tomorrow? So basically you putting Charlie Kirk's life over all of them people. Man, fuck y'all. For real, no, hell no. His last words, he blaming gang violence for shit and got shot by a white man. He had no condolences for all the people dying from innocent gun violence. He don't care about what happens in school shootings. He don't care about what happened in Palestine. He never gave a fuck. Why should I, man, nah, all that little fake virtue signaling, be the bigger person shit is why we're here today. All them gotta go.
Charlie Kirk died in America for expressing his freedom of speech. What the fuck is going on? After seeing that video, it wasn't much hope, but damn! Is this what we're doing in 2025? Just killing people? That girl just got killed on that subway, stabbed in the neck. What's wrong with y'all niggas killing niggas in the neck? I'm dead ass sitting here about to tear the fuck up, bro. I got a daughter. Imagine if wasn't his family at the rally? They saw his parent, you gotta excuse me, gang. They saw their parent die. I wanted to watch Charlie Kirk when he came here to A&M, and I simply just didn't have the time. That man by himself started so much of a movement. He's inspired so many people, myself included, to speak about politics. And he got killed for it. You can't tell me there's any other reason. It's not like people that agreed with him killed him. People are talking about gun rights and gun laws. The gun didn't kill Charlie. The person killed Charlie. Take that person and throw him under the damn jail. To Charlie's family, I'm still sending multiple prayers. I am so sorry something so tragic happened to y'all. Seeing that video genuinely is upsetting my stomach. Like, what the fuck, bro?
Nah, don't forget now. Charlie went and told y'all. This is an unfortunate sacrifice. Charlie Kirk went and told you that it was an unfortunate sacrifice that would need to be made to protect the Second Amendment. Things like this would have to happen. A citizen getting popped in broad daylight would have to happen. As unfortunate as it is, it was an unfortunate sacrifice that must be made to uphold the Second Amendment. Charlie Kirk fought for that. He worked hard for this. He worked real hard. He advocated for a fascistic regime, preached nonsensical race junk science that has been debunked for over 100 years. He hated the LGBTQIA community. An active TERF who didn't want women to have body autonomy and reproductive rights. He was a known Islamophobe, a white Christian nationalist, a man who he himself went on record on his little TV show and said he hated empathy. He thought it caused a lot of problems. Mr. Kirk worked real hard for this, and he knocked on hate's door all of his professional life. And the funny thing is, if you knock on hate's door long enough, hate will finally answer. And it answered him.
How do you feel about Charlie Kirk's death? Look, Charlie Kirk was not the best guy. He had terrible views. He justified genocide. We don't agree with the guy. However, you don't defeat ideas through bullets. You defeat ideas through ideas. Political violence is never justified anywhere, especially in America. But it is justified everywhere outside of America when America supports it, like the bombing recently in Doha, Qatar.
I don't feel bad that Charlie Kirk died. I feel bad that his life was taken. Do you agree or disagree? Somebody just commented that on my last video, and it really reminded me of a comment I saw in a post on Twitter. This is the same post where I learned that Charlie Kirk died from his gun wound and that the injuries were fatal. This commenter said, Charlie Kirk died for exactly what he believed in. I had to sit back and think about that because it is true. Charlie Kirk advocated for the gun laws that ultimately led to his demise. And I think this leads into a larger conversation about being very cognizant and empathetic when you are forming your political and social opinions. Because seeing that Newsweek article with the headline, Charlie Kirk says gun deaths are unfortunately worth it to keep the Second Amendment, but then seeing him die by a gun death in an open carry state is him being forcibly placed into somebody else's shoes, and they eventually became his own. In any scenario where he's talking about gun deaths, gun violence, the Second Amendment, it is a very clear lack of empathy. And Pause. Didn't he say that empathy was a weakness? I'm pretty sure he said empathy was a weakness. So I feel like we can see the same parallel in situations where we're talking about immigration, where we're talking about racism, where we're talking about police brutality, where we can very confidently speak on issues with the person being affected by that issue as an other until we are forcibly put into their shoes and then we don't like it. And hopefully nobody has to be put into the other person's shoes because none of those situations are good, positive, or desirable. But this is just a reminder to mind what you say, to mind what you think, and to shape your perspective around somebody else's experience other than just your own. Because ultimately, it will make a difference for not just you, but the people around you, your community, and the world at large. Again, thoughts and prayers to Charlie Kirk's family. This is a very unfortunate situation, very tragic, shouldn't have happened. I condemn the violence, but this is something important to talk about. I just made an entire video about this, and TikTok is very clearly blocking it, but I don't care because I want you to answer this question. It's important. When it comes to controversial public figures or people who you think are morally bankrupt in your political opinion, do you think that when a tragedy happens to them, it's important to be sympathetic and wish them well and hope they get better? Or do you think it's okay to carry on your current opinions, state the way you feel about them, say that they wouldn't be sympathetic to this issue if they were on the other side, and just carry on as usual? Because my entire feed for the past 30 minutes has been about Charlie Kirk getting shot, and then I went on Twitter and I saw the video of Charlie Kirk getting shot. And yes, it is a very tragic situation, but what I also want to draw attention to is the way that people are responding in the comment sections of all the videos posting about Charlie Kirk getting shot. The population in the comments is pretty much split. One half is saying, hey, we hope Charlie gets better. Regardless of what he said or done, he doesn't deserve to be shot and killed like that. Other side is saying, no. Charlie was very cavalier and dismissive towards anything that had to do with school shootings or that had to do with shootings in general, and said that sacrifices would have to be made if we want to keep our Second Amendment, and that casualties would be a result of that. And a lot of those comments are not sympathetic in any way, shape, or form. And this is the same mentality we see with people who are waiting for our 47th president to pass away and are saying things like, I'm waiting for the day I get that news headline and that notification. So my question to you is, do you think it's okay to state how you would feel regardless, and that the tragedy doesn't really change what that person has said or done in the past, especially in an arguably ironic situation like this where Charlie Kirk is an advocate for guns and he may lose his life to a gun? Or do you think that it's more important to be sympathetic and just view them on a human level, regardless of what their actions were outside of that? And I also want to say that I am not wishing Charlie harm or any type of pain. I hope that he recovers. I saw the video. If you've seen the video, you know what I mean. I just hope that he gets better because nobody deserves to get shot like that.
If you are one of these people out here celebrating the death of Charlie Kirk, you are a sick individual. I hated Charlie Kirk. I did not agree with what he stood for. But in no world would I have wished death upon him, bro. His wife and daughters were present. They saw him die right in front of their eyes. That is not something anyone should have to go through. Now, I will say, it is kind of ironic that he advocated for guns and thought everyone should have a gun. And then what does he die to?
A gun. I mean,
I don't really have much of an opinion on that. Y'all can tell me what you think about that. But it's definitely ironic, I must say. Listen, I definitely get people's hatred for him. I understand where you come from and why you dislike him. But even his main op, Dean Withers, was crying for him for his death. That should say a lot. Even Dean showed remorse for his family and him, saying that he did not deserve to die for politics. Like, nobody deserves to be killed for politics. He did not actually do anything wrong. He just believed in crazy shit. I must say, it was crazy. But getting shot for it is something different, bro. This is not Adolf Hitler we're talking about. We're talking about a man with a wife and kids who was just shot on a campus with multiple students watching.
Y'all showing empathy to Charlie Kirk? I just want to know, are y'all showing empathy because that is somebody's daddy, that's somebody's son, that's somebody's uncle, that's somebody's brother. But he kind of went out the same way that, you know, he advocated for. He said people had to go so the Second Amendment right would be, you know, be good, you know. So then he also said empathy is what's killing the world basically today, is having empathy. So I'm just, do you guys have empathy? Because it seems like he went out the same way he said it was okay for other people to go out. And, you know, that's why you got to be careful about what you say when you say how you say it. Now, I'm going to say I don't, you know, I feel sorry for his wife and his kids. His wrong does not reflect on their wrong. But to go in front of a crowd of people is crazy. That's crazy to go in front of everybody. Sorry, it's all over the internet. That is a crazy way, because I think about his kids. That's a moment that his kids, like, they're gonna get to. I hate it, but they're gonna be able to see exactly how their daddy went out. But what does that mean? Is that gonna start? Is that gonna spiral up something else? I mean, like, you just never know. Is that gonna change? You know, pew pew violence? We don't know. We don't know.
He be saying some crazy. He be saying some crazy shit, right? Holy shit! What the fuck? Don't watch, okay, bet. He got assassinated. Shit. All right, chat.
So Charlie Kirk just died 7 minutes ago. He was confirmed dead. Didn't like the guy. I don't disrespect the dead, though. I thought the nigga was honestly was going to survive. It was one shot. It was one shot right here. I thought the nigga was going to survive. I ain't gonna lie. I hope that dad aside, prayers out to his family. I hope the shooter's not black. Y'all just killed the Hokage of the fucking... I pray that the shooter's not black. We have been through enough.
Damn. If you can't go to Utah with your racism, where can you go? They talking about some critical condition, bitch. Did we see the same video? That man is in hell playing spades with Satan and Mustache Man right now. At first, I was having a little bit of an internal battle with myself because I was like, damn. While I cannot stand his funny face looking ass, he does have a daughter who's gonna have to grow up without him now. But then I quickly thought about all of the kids who got up for school one morning, got dressed, ate breakfast, said goodbye to their parents before stepping onto the school bus or getting dropped off to school. And that was the last time they were ever seen alive. All because some sicko got to walk into that school with an AR-15 and make his bad day or his bad life their problem. Now today, a man who was so outspoken on protecting the Second Amendment right and believed that it was normal for people to walk around with AR-15s and everyone should have the right to do it, got necked. In Utah of all places. I don't know. Seems like a necessary evil to me.
So we do got an update on Charlie Kirk, and unfortunately he did not make it. Charlie Kirk has passed away. Like I said before, love or hate the guy. He probably said some things that rub people the wrong way, but words is words. He shouldn't have been unalive like that. Then you gotta go into what is really going on. I seen the video. They were talking about, you know, the big T words and shit like that. And then all of a sudden, pow! The video is highly graphic. I cannot show it. But just seeing it, you knew that he was not going to make it. And this is what I really want to get into, y'all. So the person I showed on my last video on this situation, he was not the shooter. So why did they grab him up, handcuff his legs and his hand, pull him to the vehicle, just to come to find out that he wasn't the shooter? Shit don't make sense. I am hearing he got hit with a high-powered rifle. And y'all, this is weird. Somebody let me know if this is true. This allegedly was a tweet by him in 2014. Did I just get shot by an AR-15? Feels like it. Like I said, I don't know if this is true. Somebody let me know in the comments. So you gotta ask the question, was Charlie targeted because what he represented, what he talked about, or was this orchestrated randomly? This also make you think, if you're a political figure or someone that just carries a lot of weight, that talks about a lot of shit, and you're in public a lot, you need to be careful. I say that to say this. Kamala Harris is on a book tour. Donald Trump took away her Secret Service rights. So if I was her, I would be extra careful because shit like this is happening and nobody know why.
First, I want to send my condolences to the family of Charlie Kirk. But I'm not just really crying over what happened to him, even though that shit was really, really sad. I like Charlie Kirk. I didn't agree with everything that he did or said, but he never did anything but speak. He didn't hurt anybody. He didn't do anything that would have caused him to deserve that. I'm crying because I don't recognize this country anymore. I don't recognize the people. The last 4 years has really did a number on the citizens of this country. We have let so many people in. We don't even know who is who. Somebody who used to be a Democrat. And I'm not saying all Democrats is like this, but y'all are some of the most evil people I have ever seen in my life. For you all to automatically get on here and laugh. There are literally people that you guys stand with who have done horrible things behind the scenes. Horrible things. And they haven't even suffered a day of the consequences. Haven't suffered the consequences yet. People who could go out and express themselves and be free to speak and say what a lot of us are thinking and just stand up for something other than the narrative that's being pushed. They're the ones that end up losing their lives. He didn't deserve that. And I heard that they didn't, I guess the guy who they said they arrested was not the person who pulled the trigger. So that means that the person is still out there. This is what we mean when we say guns don't kill people. Stupid motherfuckers with guns kill people.
Brothers and sisters, welcome back to the channel. I'm hoping that you are great. I would like to say something. There is so much stoicism in the face of Americans today. I don't know how people are living in a society that is so, people are desensitized about how to show emotions. And you know that you're living in a society where people are rushing to see the death of a person. It's like inwardly you're celebrating what's happening to them. All I just hope is that this is going to be changing the political landscape of the United States, because one thing that I know is that it's going to get political, and most definitely everyone's going to be pointing fingers at each other. And I understand that some people might have hated Charlie Kirk for what he stood for as a person, what he subscribed to as a person, be it in religion, be it in geopolitical stances, and be it in everywhere. Because as a person who have heard him talk about all these issues, I saw him and I was like, okay, the guy is sharing his points, and to him, he's right? But you think that he's not right. And so people disagree, and that's where comes the freedom of speech. You are allowed to disagree on the stances that he stood for and everything that he stood for as a person. That literally makes sense. The extent of people going to take lives, it is just a question. Do you think it was worth it? Brad, let me know. Do you think it was worth it, you going out there taking somebody's life? Because to you, this is something that has reached the brim of you and you can't take it anymore. We are watching a society where taking life has been normalized. Once you upset a person geopolitically by what you believe or by what you say, it becomes a problem. I'm also seeing a group of people talking about how you are not supposed to say some things publicly. You mean there is no freedom of speech, right? Brothers and sisters, probably you're a black person who is watching me right now. I understand, because I also did not subscribe to what Charlie Kirk, a couple of things that he was saying. But at least I know this is a person who had a family. This is a person who had a life. I mean, Mr. Donald Trump as the president of the United States. Maybe today somebody shoots him. Let's say. What is there to gain by killing, by taking his life? Probably you might say that I don't understand the political, geopolitical landscape of the United States and how things work. I understand. And probably you are right about that. But the human, like, just try to understand the conventional human life. Somebody has a right to own life. You don't have the right to take the life. But I understand. There is a word called preferential empathy or selective empathy. Right. The media right now is pushing a lot about the death of Charlie Kirk. And it's okay to do it. But the question is, why is it always that other medias, when things like happening in Gaza, the genocides that are always happening, why is it not spoken much about? In a recent interview, I saw Charlie Kirk, when he was alive, of course, when he said that empathy is the problem and people don't need to have empathy. I understand it's not right to judge the dead, right? Probably. But you are getting to understand that the things that he supported are the things that probably has led him to die. A big question. Do you think it's safe to speak publicly out there what you feel is right? Majority of these things that divide the United States, that divide people of the United States. It was against LGBTQ. It was against women empowerment and, you know, women rights and women personal rights and everything that they believed in. It was anti-Islam. So this brings a lot of questions. Like, I'm trying to fathom all these things at the same time. Do you think we are at a point of treating wrong with wrong, or treating wrong with right, or treating right with wrong? Because according to him, he thought that he was right for everything that he was trying to do. He didn't know that one day he's going to be waking up in the morning, going to Utah, talking to students, and then boom, his life snaps in his hands. The life slips off his hands, leaving his family in front of him. His kids watching him lay down lifeless, blood oozing everywhere. Emergency cars coming, picking this guy, taking him to hospital. Public news. It's out there. Oh, Charlie Kirk has been shot. Trending #1 news. Everyone is getting to see all these things. The next 2 hours, 1 hour, news again. It has been confirmed. Charlie Kirk is dead. Trump says what he says. J.D. Vance says what he says. And it happens that I don't think the United States is safe, honestly speaking. Because pointing fingers that is about to start. People are having right now platforms to talk about how they feel. And this is going to be the moment where people are going to call Charlie Kirk. And they are going to say how and what is supported is what has led to his death. Probably I might have asked myself some critical questions about this. This was one of the hardest video to do. Because it's like debating and talking for somebody who doesn't have a right to defend themselves because they are dead. I'm just trying to be critical. I don't support the things that Charlie Kirk sometimes subscribed to, because we had a lot of thousands and thousands of people that have died in this genocide, that he have said some things that supported that. This one was a hard one, brothers and sisters. But again, we have to face it. We have to talk about this. So, brothers and sisters, please let me know what you feel about this video. It has been a tough week, of course. That black man doing what he did on the subway, this has sparked a lot of talks. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's really crazy what's happening right now. Do you think the United States is a safer place for you? I honestly don't think so. I don't really think so, if you ask me. Unraveling all these things that has been happening this week, Mr. Donald Trump targeting people from Georgia, seeing all this chaos which is happening right now, and it's about to get crazy, right? I'm not trying to fearmonger anybody, but this is what is happening. Please let me know what you think about this video. I'm your host and presenter, HONEST Stories. But until then, let me see you in my next video. Peace, love, and harmony. Salute.